Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 5, Episode 18. It's called All Roads Lead to... And I have to admit, now this is not exactly this that made up the phrase, but because we read Metal recently, which is the DC Comics event, and the phrase All Roads Lead to Darkness was mentioned a lot in that, I saw All Roads Lead to, and that's what they're meaning, but it made me chuckle because I associate it with DC.
You're just finishing it from that.
Yeah. But yeah, so obviously, full spoilers for the episode, as per usual. And we left in a predicament last time because we have Talbot, who we said he was being coerced, which was actually incorrect. People pointed out in the comments that the whole compliance thing was actually a callback to the conditioning, not mind control, but the brainwashing, essentially.
Yeah.
That we've seen Hydra do in the past. It's a deep cut. It's been a while since we've seen it, so
it is. We've caught most of the old references this season, but yeah, we missed that one.
Yeah, that's fair, and it was clear that's what it was in this episode. The more it went on,
as soon as it started, and I was like, okay, I get it. It's brainwashed.
The way he kept repeating things to himself, it was all very that. And then, of course, by the time Coulson's talking him down, it's all he's flat out saying it. So we had that. We had Fitzsimmons captured by Ruby and Strucker to help with the device and all that going on. So that's kind of where we picked up. But of course, the first thing we're going to talk about is Deke's crush on s.h.i.e.L.D. because it's phenomenal in every single sense of the word.
It's pretty great.
My favourite part of it is just because obviously the first time she's giving out orders, okay, we're going to go here, we're going to go, we found their base, found Hale.'s base, we're going to go raid it, this is what's going to happen. And all throughout the scene, Deke's just, he's got this toothpick and he's like, yeah, you heard her, people. And he's just,
Even before, he's like, so what am I going to do? Where am I going? It's like, you literally just got shot. Why are you even out of bed? He's like, yeah, I've done worse, I'm good.
Later on, like Mac just because every time he does something, he keeps glancing over at him like, "Come on, man, really?" And then later on, it's just him and Coulson and Deke. He's like, he's in love with her, and he's like, "What, really?" And he's like, "No, of course not." Why? And he's like, "Well, that was very convincing. I'm convinced."
It's the way Coulson and Mac give each other that look, and Deke's like, "What was that?" You guys shared a look.
Yeah. It's like, well, nah, she hates me, right? And if I was interested, not saying I am, and for anyone, but if I was interested, like, how would you go about it? And of course, Mac's like, well, last I saw Yo-Yo, she betrayed everyone, broke out of prison, and ran off. So don't ask me. And then Coulson's like, well, I can't talk to anyone about my feelings, because we already had that one scene where he tries to talk to May.
Yeah,
about the conversation from last episode. So he's like, nah, don't listen to me either. He's like, well, that's just great. Well, I'll just have to do it the way that I know, which is to leave a lemon on their bed. Because in the lighthouse in the future, you save up your tokens for food, you get a lemon, you put it on their bed, and that's that shows that you're affectionate towards them.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, well, that's a thing here, right? And they're like, sure, why not?
Absolutely.
Go get a lemon.
And then for the rest of the episode, Mac refers to him as Lemons.
I hope that sticks as his new nickname.
I hope so too.
It's a great nickname.
But more than anything else, I want a scene in an episode or two of s.h.i.e.L.D. coming back to her room and just seeing a lemon on her bed and not having a goddamn clue as to why there's a lemon on her bed.
Especially like at some point when Mac calls him Lemons, it's like, why do you call him Lemons? Just and they were like, yeah, I'll let Deke explain that one.
I just want a lemon on the bed scene now. I want it so bad. It's gonna be so good.
I can't wait for Mac to just chuck him a lemon at some point. Really just sarcastically going, here you go, have a lemon.
Oh dear. But on to some serious business. s.h.i.e.L.D. still in charge. She basically tells Coulson to, like, no, you're staying here. You're not going back out there. I'm in charge now, Coulson. Shut up. Sit down.
You brought me back to lead. This is how I'm doing it.
So s.h.i.e.L.D.'s in charge. She's taking me in the mission. They go to Hale.'s base. They have a pretty cool entrance, actually, so it's really nicely done. s.h.i.e.L.D.'s very confident as a leader. She keeps, like, saying things like game on and this and that. She's clearly, settling into the role. May doesn't want a gun because she wants to hit things.
Sounds like May.
So they go down the dropship thing, but they also the Zephyr fires a missile.
Yeah.
to make a hole for them so they can land in the underground base, and they get out. And it goes quite smoothly because Hale's just like, I surrender because I'm worried about Ruby because she's going to go and turn on this machine. We see that, Absorbing Man, Creela, he's freaking out. He can't handle it.
He's struggling with the voices
in his head. So she's like, "No, the last I saw, your scientist people were with her. Like they were alive, but who knows if they'll be alive when we get there? Let's go do things." So they all ramp up. They all go out. And they go there, which of course we've been seeing throughout the episode that Fitz and Simmons are constantly being threatened. She's playing target dummy with Simmons at one point. She beats the shit out of Fitz at another point because she thinks they're lying about what they're doing, and they do technically lie about one of the things. They reverse something on it. Do you know what I appreciated about this, all this stuff? I liked that at one point they have the conversation where they're like, well, we've got a choice to make because we can basically sacrifice ourselves to stop them from doing this, thus saving the world. So we know we have that choice, right? And he's like, and as much as I know it's about saving the world, I'm still not picking it over you. And she's like, yeah, I feel the same way. And I actually kind of appreciated that. They didn't go down this path of, I need to make the hard choice and do it. It's like, no.
It was addressed and then swiftly just brushed away.
Yeah, we're admitting that that's an option, but we're just not willing to do it. Any other option we'll take, but not at the expense of costing the other one's life. Okay?
And of course, they still think they're invincible, to some degree.
To this point, yeah. Given the end of the episode, we might be past that point. Oh, they seem to think they are anyway. I don't know if they are. I would question.
Yeah. Yo-Yo thinks they are. I don't know if the rest of them do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we obviously got a lot of time to react and soak in the events of the ending. What I will say about this episode is that there's a couple of really extreme moments of violence that I did not see coming.
Yeah, and some pretty damn good ones.
Yeah, so eventually they get the machine working, and they're surprised that they can even transfer the gravitonium through the tube to get into the main machine. And Ruby and Strucker, their relationship's getting proper creepy and kind of sickly romantic, and they kiss before she goes in, and the thing closes. Of course, within seconds, it starts to hurt painfully, and she starts to freak out, and she's demanding to get out, and that's when Hale and Sky and all that come in, and it all kicks off.
I thought it was really nicely paralleled with Captain America. So obviously I rewatched that recently, the first one, and the scene where he goes into the machine, which obviously looks pretty similar to this. He's screaming in pain as well, and they're all like, "We should turn it off," but he's like, "No, I'm just going to get through it." Whereas Ruby, on the other hand, is like, "No, just stop it." Yeah,
she has the opposite reaction. No, that's a nice touch. But she comes out, and she's kind of floating at first. I mean, that makes sense, given that the gravitonium itself has been very responsible for a lot of floating things.
It is a very floaty thing, isn't it?
But she sort of like, Strucker's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to leave you, Ruby, I'm not going to leave you." And she, not being able to control her new powers, implodes his head.
It just crumples.
And it is violent as shit, and I love it.
And it is treated with the appropriate amount of horror from everyone.
Oh yeah, everyone in the room is like, "Oh shit, back away from her right now. She's got some weird powers."
Even she's like, "What the hell did I just do?"
Yeah, and that's the one person in the room she actually kind of likes. So
yeah, as much as she ships Fitzsimmons.
What? Yeah, she said that. Like, yeah, she said she ships them hard. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I kind of appreciate this, like, because usually I'd hate that sort of thing, but from this character, I'm like, the vanity of it kind of worked for me.
Oh yeah, we saw that she's a teen girl. She's got Sky on her wall on a poster.
Yeah, exactly. Like she actually does, like, it's almost like she's been following their adventures in the news.
Yeah. Or the secret Hydra files, which no doubt passed
that
through
the
building, and she gets a glance at. So that's brutal as shit. And then, of course, eventually she herself dies because Yo-Yo. There's a lot of moment I like with Yo-Yo actually, where she's like, she gets to the ship, and she's inside, and she tries to send a signal out, but Strucker's put out a blocker so that they can't call out to anyone, and no calls can come in, and so on and so forth. And we cut back to her at one point, and she's just in the ship. She's just in the plane, just kind of in pain because, as we saw last episode, using her speed have made her arms go absolutely, wacky and malfunction and hurt immensely. And at one point, one of the mechs comes in, one of the robots come out of the ship, and she has to just sort of like, she panics for a second and she goes, oh well, screw this, and she speeds out back in, and she's got a machine gun. She unloads a clip into it. It puts the robot down, and she immediately falls down in agony. Like she's just like, it hurts so much to do. I like that little scene. It was just it was like a 20-second scene. But
it was a nice touch.
Yeah, but when she realizes that Sky's in there, when she runs into May and Fitzsimmons, she runs in and she's like, "That's the bitch that took my arms." And at this point, Ruby's starting to, things are starting to move and shake. She's
losing control. She's shouting things from the voices.
Yeah. They want out. They want out. Let me.
Worth noting, she only has 8% of the gravitonium in her.
That's true. Yeah, 92% still remains.
Yeah, and if this is how powerful someone is after 8%, I dread to imagine about the rest of it.
And obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes on here. Like Sky at one point is pulled down, and it looks like she's going to get killed. There's a point where Fitz and Simmons are up against the wall. Hale kind of talks her down. She has Sky. She's actually killing Sky basically, and Hale talks her down again. And that's when Yo-Yo, once she starts freaking out and she seems to be losing control, Yo-Yo speeds in with her blade. And slits her
one of those
throat.
circle blades.
Yeah, and slits her throat. We just, in super speed, we just see the throat go,
and then it's properly slit.
Yeah, I actually thought she decapitated her at first because her head started to go back.
It did, didn't it? That's how deep the cut was. But then just when she's just lying there and it's just open, I'm like, damn, this looks impressive.
Yeah, network TV gets away with a lot more stuff these days, doesn't it?
It does. There's just an open throat. On screen for quite a while. They don't shy away from it at any point. It's just always in camera.
Big pool of blood, and and I actually really like that Sky's whole thing here was like, she's angry at Yo-Yo. Like, what did you do? Like, we could have talked her down, because even before this, when she's talking to Hale, she's been misled by you, like, down this like path, but she could maybe be an agent someday. Like, it's almost like she's looking at Ruby as herself. Like, I was taken by Coulson and turned into an agent.
Definitely, and also just the fact that she's kind of right. Like, yeah, she's kind of been a bit, evilish. Don't get me wrong, but in this moment, she wasn't intentionally doing these things. She was kind of losing control. It was, going badly, and they were talking her down. Like Hale had successfully, stopped her killing Fitzsimmons, stopped her killing Sky.
And it's worth mentioning as well, she's scared in this scene, which is something we've never seen her be before. And I think, because for me, she's been acting all evil. She did cut off someone's arms, let's not ignore that. But for me, she has this adolescent arrogance about her where she thinks she knows everything, and she clearly doesn't yet.
Yeah, there's a point where Sky says, she's just a child.
And she is.
Yeah, she's been, grown up quicker than she should have done, obviously, like that with all the Hydra trainee stuff.
But that said, if you genuinely thought she's about to end the world, is it justifiable to just go in and take her out and just finish it right there and then?
Which is why I don't think it's it's not a clear cut choice as to
Yo-Yo doesn't come out of this.
Right.
Yo-Yo doesn't come out of this looking evil for doing this.
No, I completely understand why Yo-Yo's done what she's done.
Which, don't get me wrong, there is a tinge of vengeance with it because she is the one that cut off her arms.
There is, but she can argue all this case, and it makes sense. There is an understanding to it, but at the same time, when Sky hits back, goes, "No, this is wrong." Well, Sky's kind of right as well.
So we have the fallout from this. Given how sort of quickly this was dealt with, I have to imagine this is not actually what was going to end the world. Right.
Yo-Yo's pretty convinced. It's like, well, that's it. I just saved the world, guys. We're good here.
Yeah. Mainly because we're still like 4 episodes left, so I'm fairly convinced.
It's way too easy.
Yeah, this was not the actual end of the world saving. I think it's interesting that both Ruby and Strucker are dead. We've taken both of them at the table. And of course, Hale is so pissed. A little post-credit scene is Hale going to, the alien dude, from the Confederacy.
Kovas, I believe it was.
Yeah, Kovas. There you go. And it's like, hey, S.h.i.e.L.D's got your gravitonium. You have to kill him. It's like, because obviously before we knew that she was planning on kind of like turning her back on them, whereas now it's like, no, she just wants revenge on S.h.i.e.L.D. She's like, no, I want them all to die.
Yeah, Yo-Yo just made her into an enemy essentially. As much as she's Hydra. She was kind of the enemy anyway. She wasn't really at the moment. She was kind of antagonistic. Don't get me wrong, but ultimately she had the same goal of, hey, let's not let the planet get destroyed.
I think she was still an enemy up until now. I feel like in this episode she'd kind of given up everything else because she just wanted to protect her daughter.
She was still very, self-interested, but ultimately, like when she was talking to Coulson, being like, "Hey, I don't trust these aliens. Let's work together." I believe her. I believe that she meant every word of that.
Oh, sure, but I still think she's the enemy. She's still antagonistic. She's
Oh,
still
sure.
kidnapping people. She's still coercing them. She's
Yeah, yeah.
still brainwashing Talbot, and we need to get to that. I've not talked about that yet. Talbot, who's walking around, and you feel really bad for him. But he's talking to himself. He's messing with the cameras. He's going into Robin's room, and you feel kind of tense the entire time he's in there. And he keeps saying he's sorry before he does things, and he
Yeah.
attacks Robin's mother, knocks her out, and then he's got Robin, and it all kind of leads up to this standoff with him and Coulson and Mac.
Yeah, I did like the part in Robin's room where her mother's just go and get help, and she just stands there and watches because obviously she's seen this already, and so she knows this is just how it happens. So there's no point in running off to get help.
Yeah, but it does lead to the question: is if you tried to change it, why not?
Yeah, no, exactly.
She's just accepting that it is. Whereas I think a scientist would say, no, run, try and break it, try and change what happens.
Yeah.
But they have this standoff, and Coulson's brings up his son. He brings up lots of things. He tries to break through to him. You have to fight this. You've seen this be fought before. And Talbot's ready to kill himself. And I knew he wasn't going to because we actually cut away as soon as he put the gun to his chin. And this was a pretty dark episode in general. On all this, I mean, Yo-Yo killed a teenager who was about to destroy the world in front of her mother. That's a pretty dark scene.
Yeah, the only thing that crossed through my mind during this is, other than the things I'm supposed to, but in terms of whether or not he would do it, the only thing that meant maybe he will is, this would free him up to finish off the rest of Supergirl.
I think the fact that Supergirl's production got pushed back for the second part of the season is probably what helped all this anyway.
It probably did, yeah.
I imagine it probably did. Yeah, I mean, speaking of, I just didn't mention this earlier, but when Sky mentioned Ruby possibly, maybe she could become an agent someday, part of me went, if we do get a season 6, is that something we do next year? Does Ruby get rehabilitated?
I thought the same, yeah.
Yeah. Do we have this weird antagonistic but trying to be better Ruby on the team, and do her and
clearly not.
Yeah, clearly not.
It went through my mind as well.
Do her and May have staring contests every day when she's trying to discipline her? I don't know. There was potential there, I think.
Well, I'd have loved to have seen that.
But he tries to talk to Talbot. It doesn't really work. He does let go of the girl, but it doesn't really work. And Mac has to knock him out with a sleeper.
Yeah, because Coulson's like, drop the gun. You'll comply, and he's like, no, I can't do that. But he's like, all right, point it at me then. And that just about gets around it enough that he can do that.
Yeah, he's basically trying to almost manipulate the brainwashing to work for him at that point.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm an enemy. You can shoot at me.
Yeah. And of course, the idea that people have been arguing, you're saying you don't have a death wish, Coulson, but you're kind of edging more and more towards it. It kind of plays into that a little bit as well.
I'm fully expecting Mac to mention this next episode.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see Mac mentioning it. But no. Here's a little thing because when Daisy and May show up, right, and they get Fitz and Simmons come down from the wall after Ruby's had them up, and they're kind of sneaking back round, and May's here, come on, sneak round this side, and they're about to leave. When they come back in at the end, and Fitz is like, hey, what the hell happened? I was like, is Sky going to give him a glance, being like, oh, we're not good still, or or whatever. And she actually doesn't react to him. She just kind of responds to the question because it's like, oh, here's what happened. Everything was happening.
Not here, not now, not in front of the others.
Yeah. I think it maybe shows me, though, not that she's forgotten. I don't think she's forgotten for a second, but I think it shows that in the heat of the moment when other things are more important, it's already starting to not be something that affects her judgment.
Right, I think it's a case of this is her trying really hard to be the leader, and it'll be, when she's in the field and making these decisions, she's going to be a bit more, a bit more aware.
Obviously, because I don't necessarily see Fitz going back into a cell when they get back.
No, maybe not.
I kind of feel like it'll... I don't know how it'll be worded or how it'll play out, but I kind of feel like it won't happen. It'll just kind of be they were kind of right, and... I mean, unless she goes the opposite way and she's just super pissed that they broke out and it led to all this happening in the first place, and she blames them for it because she might go down that route. That is entirely possible.
Yeah, maybe she'd be like, you're the reason that she's dead.
I think the big moment I'm looking forward to before the end of the season is a moment where she trusts him with something.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because I feel like that'll happen, and it'll make me feel all warm and fuzzy.
All I will say is there's a chance that it'll not happen, and we're talking about okay, Fitz might be the one to die, and she'll feel guilty that that she that he died and he was still like she was still angry at him and didn't get that moment with him.
But then, because Mac's working on making sure the Zephyr can go into space this episode in case they have to like evacuate Earth.
Yeah.
They'll use that to go fetch young Fitz from who's asleep.
Yes, other Fitz.
Yes, in the ship, and then she'll apologise to him, and then he'll be like, "But what? I didn't do it. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I've not lived through any of this. What's happening?"
No, I can see that.
Which would also be effective. It'd all be be effective. I think I just have this assumption that we'll get some sort of moment where she's kind of respecting him again, or trusting him again, or at least not hating his guts eternally.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
but like I say, it's like you say, it'll give you the nice warm fuzzy feeling, and I'm like, I don't trust this show just to not give me that.
They'll give me it one way or another. The show does come around and gives you the fuzzy feeling every so often.
It does every so often, yeah.
For all the times Fitz and Simmons have made us feel pain, every so often they give us the warm fuzzy feeling as a reward for all that pain.
It's true. It's true.
It does happen. So, potential there. No, that was a solid episode. I think it all kind of neatly kind of wrapped into the one thing. Everything was kind of separate to begin with, and then by the end, Talbot was a bit separate, and we're not entirely sure why Hale and co wanted. I mean, other than just the obvious, they want Robin to give them predictions.
Yeah, but he was fixated over specific drawings.
Yeah,
the red room.
Yes, he kept saying red. Was he saying red rum at one point as well?
I don't think so.
Was I just hearing red rum because
I think you were
because it sounded like red rum, but he was saying red
I
rum.
think so because he was looking at the picture of the red room.
Yeah, that's fair. That's just me hearing red rum because I've got shining on the brain. But to be honest, with the little things that he was muttering to himself repeatedly,
it was very mumbly, wasn't it?
It did not sound out of place for him to just start going red rum, red rum, red rum.
No, it wouldn't.
So no, but no, all that was good. And I like that a crisis might force them all to work together again, even though Fitzsimmons and Yo-Yo will be kind of everyone else will be kind of pissed at them. Hell, Fitzsimmons might even be kind of pissed at Yo-Yo now. I mean, not pissed, but not agree with what she did. They may not quite agree with that action.
Or I can see them being split on it. Fitz being the cold, logical side, agreeing with her, and Simmons being a bit more empathetic, being like, hey, no.
Very possibly, or I wonder maybe is this the line past where even Fitz doesn't go, where he's kind of yeah, logically I should be okay with this, but it still feels wrong because this was a kid.
Yeah.
This will be the line
possible.
That kind of snaps him out of it and makes him maybe start to be a bit more like Fitz again and not Leo, not Hydra Fitz.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So no, there's definitely emotional fallout potential. And then pretty much all the comic relief was was Deke this episode, but that's okay.
I'm okay with that because Deke's fun.
Yeah. But anyway, so it was not a cheery episode. I do not expect the next episode to be cheery. I don't expect a lot of cheer. Maybe the last 5 minutes of the finale might be a bit more cheery if they win and everyone's friends again.
Maybe some lemons.
Lemons. Yeah.
I love this lemons thing. I really do.
Is that 30 Rock? Is that Tina Fey's character? Is that Liz Lemon? Is that what?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm imagining Alec Baldwin saying
just
lemon.
Going lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a while. I only watched the first couple of seasons of that, but
he does say that a lot.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That's S.h.i.e.L.D. Episode 82. We've got 4 left of the season. Join us next week for episode 19. We'll see you then. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/MailedFuzzTV. You can do that over there. Otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?